Hello, everybody. We'll give it a minute or so for folks to join. I'm sitting here smirking. I was looking at test grid over the weekend and things were looking better, and I look at it this morning and oh my goodness, there's a bunch of interesting different things. Way to keep life interesting. Alrighty. Well, history passed. I will go ahead and get started. As always, this is a recorded meeting. It's going to go up on YouTube forever, so be awesome people. So I want to run through the usual set of stuff. Interestingly, over the weekend, there was an indication that somebody may be wanting to add a feature. Kenny, did you happen to see that on Slack?
Sorry, no, I did not see that.
Okay. I will be following up today. Well, I guess Steven's on PTO today, it sounds like, from Slack. So I'll be following up today to try and understand what's going on there.
Yeah, I'll investigate it as well.
Okay.
I was making sure I was unlaborous on Labor Day, so.
Excellent. Yeah, I went ahead and let my Slack notifications come through just because I need to be watching this stuff right now. And I was surprised by that. And it was also the message was, I don't know, the wording was interesting between the lines, just sort of felt a little cavalier, like, process, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I don't even know the scope of it, how big or small it may or may not be. So we'll see, yeah. This is interesting timing because today is the day that we will start code freeze, and feature freeze was 6 weeks ago. So it's always interesting to see, like, try to over communicate things, and this process is pretty established, and I don't know, you can only do so much. There's always going to be misses, I guess. Just glancing, we don't have any test infra folks. So and I think most of the meeting today is not overlapped with Friday. So on Friday we discussed the coming code freeze, and Cole from Test Infra had been doing some experimentation. And so basically, we're going to shift over to using Tide. In the past, there's been a variety of different things involved with enforcing and reminding about code slush, code freeze, and merge requirements. We had the GitHub merger, there's the submit queue, there's Tide, and there's potentially a few other things in there as well around automation. And things are consolidating in the direction of Tide, but not quite completely there. So he's gonna the expectation is, based on Friday discussion, is that we'll turn things on today using the submit queue, and then probably later this week switch over to Tide. And That will give a slight change in what users perceive during code freeze, so things won't be just completely consistent for them. But I also feel like if that's better, because right now we're making some changes to code to implement this new thing, and the development there is happening right now. I would rather see it get deployed as opposed to say, okay, we think this is ready and set it on a shelf for 3 months and then come back to it. So I'd rather see us taking small incremental iterative steps on the automation. So we'll give that a try this week. He's got the ability to run things in sort of a dry run mode and see what it would look like and do testing. So I don't see a whole bunch of risk here. And also because it's code freeze, like if we slow merging down, merges are already really slow right now. So I see pretty small risk there. So you'll probably see some stuff coming later this week around that. Do we have? We don't have anybody from CI Signal here. So I was actually I was thinking CI Signal was looking pretty great, but strangely not today. I guess I don't know if anybody else has looked at Test Grid without anybody from CI Signal on. There's not so much to talk about on that, and I will be spending my day, I think, trying to understand what happened because we were looking a lot better. And I guess we do have our node on issues. Is there anything that you want to say today?
Not really. I was on picture of the last week, so I tried to figure out what happened during the last week. I just saw one issue. Sorry, close, I think, but not something very important.
Okay. I'll touch base with Gwen also later today. It's 6 a.m. and on the West Coast, so things are just getting started. I suspect tomorrow's release meeting will be very interesting because I'll have had a day back to go look at all of these things that have changed and start hounding people and get more attention. Documentation, we don't have anybody today to talk about anything there. Okay. Then release notes. Lindsay, is there anything that you would like to say about release notes?
Not really. We haven't been doing very much yet, or I don't know if Nick has, but he had mentioned trying to set up a meeting at some point, but it didn't seem to pan out before the long weekend. So
okay.
Hopefully there will be more action this week, I guess.
Yeah, I would imagine for there was all sorts of stuff going on between company internal and various public meetings, and I get the impression San Francisco, just like the whole Bay Area, not that he's there, but everybody just disappears for Burning Man last week maybe, and then you throw in a long weekend as well. It feels like nobody was around this last week. All right. He had posted the draft on HackMD. I hadn't gone and looked to see if anybody's added anything there. Let's see, it changed 4 days ago, and it looks like by our node, actually. Nick owns. All right, I don't see a history button. I can edit, I can view. I wonder if only he can see the history as the owner. Oh well, the draft looks awesome compared to in the past at this point, I would say. And hopefully people appreciate the HackMD choice. We'll see. Okay, then the last thing on the normal agenda then as we get close to the end is communications. I don't know, Carrie, if there's anything you would like to say. Last week, I'd heard that there was maybe going to be a meeting to discuss features.
Yay.
Yay!
Yeah, I think we got the 5 days blog topics outlined at least, and some progress made there. The feature stuff is we're still getting stuff from SIG teams, so
Okay.
that's pretty much where I think things sit as far as I know.
Okay.
And I know our announcement post, I think there's just a couple of finishing touches to be wrapped up there. And that's about done too.
Okay.
Prettifying.
Cool. Awesome. Is there anything you're looking for help there, or sensing help needed in terms of reaching out to SIGs for status on features?
I think there is a handful of them, and I have a document bookmarked on my computer that's sitting at home,
Oh,
but not here.
okay.
That's the smart way to do it. But so I'll check that and I'll drop it into our meeting notes so
Okay.
that I can, like, if there is anything that I see, I'll review that this afternoon and drop it there.
Okay, yeah, and let me and Stephen know if there's a short list of specific things we can help reach out to people as well.
Yeah, I think Stephen was on our call, so
Okay.
I'll double check on that and get that in the document so we at least have it there for everybody to look at.
Okay. Okay, then that basically is the list of things to go through, the standing list. Do folks have things that they want to talk about today?
I have a question.
I thought you might, yeah.
So, when will our first beta release come out, or?
That is today. So I'm gonna work with Doug during the day to see if he's got permission issues that are different, and then we'll figure out what we can do, because it's going to take somebody at Google to change things if necessary. So Doug had been on PTO through the end of last week and is back today. So I'll check in with him to see, because since he'd been out, I hadn't had the ability to see if he's having these permission issues also. So I'll have him look at that, and then we should have the Googlers around today to be able to figure out what's necessary to change and fix. So I really appreciate you having tracked that and opened the issue and following on it. And it's, I think, just because of timing, it ended up not getting eyeballs on it super promptly. But today, since the beta will be today, we'll just force through it and figure it out.
Okay. I just want to say, if we are not getting any Googler to solve this within a reasonable time frame, we may revert that PR to get through this, get beta release.
Yeah, that's at least a backup option. I would prefer to figure it out and move forward, but yep, we'll keep that in mind. That's an easy way to do it if we had to. That is so. For everybody else, I'll drop a link to this. We have an issue about a build problem, and it's in the minutes there. There's a permissions issue in the tooling, and hopefully a minor thing. We'll find out today. Well, I expected a relatively short meeting, mostly talking about CI signal today, and since if we don't have folks who've looked at it in the last day, there's not too much to talk about there. So call it a short meeting, and that just means tomorrow's meeting is going to be long, probably. All right, well, we have 3 weeks from today, 3 weeks to go. We've got 2 beta releases and an RC release between now and then. Hopefully we'll be getting all of our doc merges in this next period as code velocity slows down and people are able to shift over to a little more focus on test and docs, and hopefully then also we get our CI signal straight, and it's going to be fun, especially looking at test grid today. All right, well, I appreciate you all joining for the short meeting, and I'll let you go then. And if you, especially as shadows for most of the folks on the call today, if you have the ability to join some of the other meetings over the next couple of weeks, I think you'll see a lot of discussion and talk going on, and hopefully you've had some chats with your leads about succession, whether they're wanting to move on, hand the reins over, whether you're wanting to move up, and also if you're interested in continuing to participate in the release lead laterally, let me and Aish know as well, because we'll be looking over the next weeks to fill the team out to have additional folks involved. And feel free to ping me on Slack directly if you want to chat about anything like that as well. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Tim.